It's a very loving place to go. Like, it's very open. I mean, it's not a big group, but it's still something, and it's something better than nothing. And everyone's very loving and open to what you can say, or even if you're there to just listen, because you don't have to even say anything. You can just sit there and learn. And I think that's what's so great about it, because no matter what your personality is, you can still go.
Amazing Things presents EmpowHer.
I was not planning on coming to Northwest for the longest time, and then it was just something that I had really been praying about, like, okay, God, like, lead me where I can just do missions. That's really all I focused on. Academics wasn't really a #1 priority on picking a college. I figured I would just find something there while I was there. I ended up coming and touring Northwest, and I ended up falling in love with it. And so freshman year, I started doing navigators, which was absolutely amazing. I learned a lot and I grew a lot, and I had some amazing leaders. My sophomore year, I was a student leader for the navigators, and which was also amazing. I learned so many incredible study materials. Like, I was very prepared for Bible studies. Like, they just taught me so much while I was there. But I just felt God calling me to do something different, and I really wasn't sure what that was. I wasn't sure if that was transferring or staying. And so I was really just open for whatever. I knew I had a passion for women's ministries and just serving girls and making them feel the most comfortable they can and loving them where they are. And I just felt like that was going to be just something a little bit different.
Josie and I both last year talked about how we wanted to do something different and something for only females. And it was just kind of something that we both felt very called to do. And so we didn't realize that either person felt this way.
And so Morgan and I ended up meeting up in Starbucks on April 6th, 2017, and we were just sitting there drinking our coffees and talking and sharing our hearts. We both were like, wow, this is something that you want to do too, and so, which is really cool. And then we started doing some research, and we came up with EmpowHer.
EmpowHer is a small group Bible study life group just for females at Northwest. We meet on Mondays for about 2 hours, and we go through a lot of material, more so just reading different chapters and books in the Bible and just discussing it and discussing why it's important now and how it affects us. And so rather than giving out materials and stuff, we kind of just talk about it. We wanted to talk to Josie's dad, who's a pastor, just to get some advice and some recommendations on things where we should start and what kind of studies we should do, because we knew we wanted to have studies and studies that were more applicable to life today, so where the girls could really be able to apply these to their lives. And so we knew that's where we wanted to start, but we really didn't know how to go about that, or where to even pull that from.
Coming up with study material is hard. Studying the Bible is also hard in general, just because there's lots of confusing things, and you're not meant to fully understand it the very first time you read it, or maybe even multiple times after that. And so it just requires a lot of time spent in the Word and listening to sermons and just doing a lot of studying just by yourself. And so just preparing for everything. If we're going through a book in the Bible, then we have to study the whole book, and we have to study it multiple times, and then we have to come up with questions. And so that's probably the hardest part, but I've also grown a lot through that.
We bought a lot of books from Christian bookstores and just kind of started going through them and just found studies that we liked and that really caught our interest, and we knew that college girls like us, I think just us planning that and us finding ones that related to our lives, because we're college students too, so relating those to other students' lives.
So at the beginning of the semester, we started studying Esther, and she was an amazing woman. She was a queen, and she loved her people so much, and she was willing to do anything for them, and she just wanted to save them. And so kind of as we were starting EmpowHer and we were reading through it and studying Esther, she mentions in there I'm going to save these people, and I'm going to do whatever I can because I love them so much. So if I perish doing it, then I perish. And so that's also been something cool to kind of just keep with us as we go through. So just encouraging girls to you know what, you were created for such a time as this. God has placed you in this world at this very moment for you to do something for Him and something glorious. And so with that being every action you take and everything you do, everything you post, like you're loved and you're here, like you really do have a purpose. And just making sure girls like know that is something that we really, really care strongly about, because living in this world and this generation is hard when social media and the world is just throwing all these worldly things at you. And the Bible's telling you like the complete opposite of like who you are as a person. And so just really driving that home with them, telling them that they are amazing. I have loved going into this knowing just a handful of girls personally, and having more girls that I didn't know than what I did know come to this study and want to know like what we were about and want to know us. And I have just fallen in love with like every single girl, and so just watching them grow from the very beginning to now has been like an unbelievable change, and it's been so amazing to just watch them fall in love with Jesus. And I think that's like the best thing, that it's like something that Morgan and I both prayed for like all summer as we prepared for the start of EmpowHer.
I didn't actually expect to like become friends with almost all the girls. Like I knew, we would have a lot of girls come, and like I wanted to get to know them all really personally, but I didn't expect us to become such close friends.
I have been able to keep a close relationship with at least the leaders, and then everyone else, I literally had no idea who they were until I went. So then I was able to at least know a few people around campus and get to talk to them if I needed anyone to talk to.
They're a lot more willing to open up now and just like talk about their life and just how they've seen God use them, and then how, they'll talk about how they've grown throughout the semester and how like working with us has like made them grow, and just like meeting with each other. So you definitely see like a lot more like friendships and just like spiritual like maturity.
Just starting to go to EmpowHer, I really was able to open up to a bunch of people who I did not know, and then I was able to get comfortable and then be able to just embrace everything that I learned and to use it throughout just day-to-day life.
I definitely think that like women, women in the Bible aren't as like, not strongly mentioned, but just aren't, their roles don't prevail as much. So I think just like learning what your role is as a Christian woman is something that's very important.
Guys are very grown, like they seem they need to be great leaders, and women are kind of pushed off to the side, like, oh, you follow the men, that's what it says in the Bible. But now it's more like, oh wow, like what I'm learning in EmpowHer is like, that's not completely true. Like women have a lot more power than you would think, and they really show it. Jozie and Morgan both, they really show how to be leaders, even being leaders in EmpowHer.
So one of the most memorable Bible studies is we had a bonfire, and it was still like at 8 o'clock like usual, and so it was dark out, and everybody brought their blankets, and we just sat around this bonfire, and we had just like an hour of prayer, and it was called like the hour that changed the world. And it was like praying out loud, but also like to yourself, kind of whatever you wanted to do. And a lot of people were struggling with like a lot of different things, and a lot of things were happening in the world that was just really heartbreaking. And it was just sad to see like everyone's just going through a lot of things. And so we just sat together and we prayed, and we had different topics like every few minutes. And we have all these girls that are like really shy and like just like to hold things in, opened up and prayed and like shared their hearts, and did some things that they were uncomfortable with doing, and they did it because they wanted other people to hear where their heart was and hear how they were hurting. And I just thought that was unbelievable, and I just like was in tears most of the night because it was so beautiful just to see how much trust they had in Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I hope, obviously Jozie and I are seniors, so I mean, we're gonna be leaving Northwest within the next year or so. So both of us would hopefully love it if, a younger girl or girls would take it over and just kind of continue doing what we've been doing throughout the course of the next few years.
Kind of like what Morgan said, like I really hope and pray that we have a couple girls that wants to step up and take on that leadership role. because our vision is to encourage women to become stronger and more confident in who they are in Christ. And I just pray that some girls have that same vision when we leave and want to continue that. But I'm also really sad that I'll be done in December with EmpowHer, and so I don't know, I kind of have this vision and this dream that I've talked to Morgan about, so, like my parents and just some people that I really trust and that are really just in love with Jesus. And so I kind of want to make it like a really big organization. Like I don't want it to just be like at Northwest, but I want it to spread out. And so I've been praying about maybe writing some devotion books that have the same basis vision as EmpowHer, and just to help girls get a start on that and spread that vision across other campuses.
To learn more about EmpowHer, check out the Humans of Northwest article on the Northwest Missourian website.